Hi, back again. Excuse me. Just a quick one on the liberal arts. Um, Fair use and all that. I said it only applies to the person. I'm not a person, I'm a man, very much alive. Thank you very much. I'm a man, not a person. But this one's just a quick one. It's only Wikipedia, but I'll leave a link. There is other sources you can go and look at as well, which I may show soon. But I've done quite a lot on logical fallacies and stuff like that. I'm going to concentrate a little bit more on like emphomemes and syllogisms. Then I'm going to go into do a bit on grammar and rhetoric and stuff like that. I may do a little bit more on fallacies, but I've done quite a lot on fallacies now. It's all there. So it's the liberal arts. It's subjects that in classical antiquity were considered essential for a free individual to know. See, this is why it's not essential for us to know, because we're not free individuals. We're not free people. Yeah. It's just a diagram thing. No matter how much you zoom in, you can't read the writing. It's really blurry. It's a diagram of the 7th liberal arts, 12th century. It says, liberal arts is a term given to an education based on classical antiquity. It is meant to be a practical education which develops mental capacity. So there you go, look. We weren't given the liberal arts education. But like I said, that's meant to be a practical education which develops mental capacity. It was designed in the late medieval period, 12th and 13th centuries, using ideas from ancient Greek and Roman cultures. The students were meant to be young gentlemen, that is, from respectable and important families. In modern times, liberal arts colleges educate both sexes and a wider range of people. The 7 liberal arts. The 7 liberal arts were taught in 2 groups called the trivium and the quadrivium. So they start off with the trivium, which is grammar, dialectic, which is logic, which is all to do with logical fallacies and stuff like that, which I've been doing, and rhetoric. The quadrivium is arithmetic, geometry, astronomy, and music. During the Middle Ages, liberal arts were central to university education. The quadrivium followed the preparatory work of the trivium. The area and range of the liberal arts has evolved in time. Originally, most of the teaching and all of the textbooks would have been in Latin, the language the students would have used and learned at school before they came to college. In the beginning, the courses were aimed at educating the elite in the classical works. Eventually, the meaning of liberal arts got extended to include both humanities and science. But even today, practical activities as agriculture, business, engineering, pedagogy, or pharmacy are excluded from the liberal arts. The liberal professions include only professions which require education at university, mainly law and medicine. The trivium, Latin for freeways, included the literary disciplines. Grammar, the science of the correct usage of language. It helps an individual to speak and write correctly. Dialectic, or logic, which is like your logical fallacies and stuff. The science of correct thinking. It helps you to arrive at the truth. Rhetoric, the science of expression, especially persuasion. See, this is one of the tactics used against us, this rhetoric. It's a science of expression, especially persuasion. It's to persuade you. Yeah? And it's ways of organising a speech or document, adapting it so that people understand it and believe it. So basically, rhetoric is there to persuade you to believe something. Yeah? Like a lot of stuff in society and the globe earth idea, heliocentric idea, and the mainstream media, politicians, stuff like that, they use rhetoric as an art of persuasion to make you believe what they're saying and stuff like that, yeah? So we need to go into that next, I think, and do some content on rhetoric next, so we can see through all that. The quadrivium, Latin for 4 ways, included the disciplines connected with mathematics. They were arithmetic, teaches about numbers. Geometry teaches about calculating spaces. Astronomy teaches about the stars. And music teaches ratio and proportion and is related to melody and song as it was in the Middle Ages. Liberal arts colleges are a modern reinterpretation of the old idea. Mostly in the United States, these colleges concentrate on good teaching and are closer to the Oxford and Cambridge type of tuition than most universities. They are mostly or entirely fee-paying institutions, and so continue to offer an elite education to students from prosperous families. The courses are mostly or entirely undergraduate courses. See, it tells you there, look, basically it's like Oxford, Cambridge, they're all fee-paying institutions. They're for an elite education for students from prosperous families, people that have got plenty of money, they're high up, that have got all the money and stuff to send their children to these places. So for the elites, basically, and stuff like that, yeah. They don't teach this sort of stuff in, like, mainstream schools and stuff like that, what the masses go to, basically. Because they don't want you knowing this stuff. Otherwise, they won't get away with half the shit that they fucking do if everyone knew this stuff. And there's some stuff about writings on the subject you can have a look at. Just going to go back up. Let's click on this. Grammar. No, I don't want to. No, go away. I don't want to donate. Thank you very much. Grammar is a set of structural rules that governs the composition of clauses, phrases, and words in any given natural language. We know what grammar is. It's study of words, how they are used in sentences, how they change in different situations. Ancient Greeks used to call it grammatic techni or something. Oh, I can't read that. The craft of letters. It can have any of these meanings. Study of a language, how it works, and everything about it. This is background research on language. The study of sentences, structure, rules, and examples show how the language should be used. This is a correct usage grammar, as in a textbook or manual or guide. The system which people learn as they grow up. This is the native speaker's grammar. When we speak, we use the native individual's grammar, or as near as we can. When we write, we try to write with correct grammar. So speaking and writing a language each have their own styles, and there's different languages and stuff like that. I'm going to go back. We've done dialectic, we know what this is. This is in philosophy, dialectic is an argument or debate between different people. In medieval Europe, dialectics or logic was one of the three beginning liberal arts, altogether known as a trivium, and the other members being rhetorics and grammar. Goal of the dialectical process, dialectic or dialectics, is to try to resolve the disagreement through rational talk and the search for the truth in the matter. Dialectics has three main ideas. Everything is made out of opposing forces / opposing sides. Gradual changes lead to turning points where one force overcomes the other, and change moves in spirals, not circles. And then there's that bit there. And then rhetoric, the art of discourse. This is what's used against us to persuade us and into believing things and stuff like that. Rhetoric is the art of convincing and persuading people by language through public speaking or writing. The root of the word is from Greek. If someone's Greek, they can say what that is, I don't know. Roughly meaning the art of speech. I can't read Greek. Webster's dictionary defines it as the art or science of using words effectively in speaking or writing, especially the art or science of literary composition. The word effectively in this definition is a relative matter. What is effective in one context may be entirely different in another cultural setting. Different languages differ in their rhetorical styles. That is in the way that they use language to accomplish various purposes. People can be trained in this skill, and people are trained in this skill. We see it all the time. It is the art or the technique of persuasion used by orators, public speakers, writers, and media. History, structure, contrastive rhetoric, quotes, related pages, references, other websites. I'm going to leave a link to these anyway in the description. Like I said, the next thing I'm going to be doing stuff on is that rhetoric. I think we should start looking at some stuff on rhetoric and do some stuff on this next, I think. So we can learn the tactics that are used against us to try and, like it says, persuade us into believing and stuff like that. We need to know how they do it. Yeah. So that's my next thing I'm going to be doing. Okay, thank you.